Okay, in this video, the goal of what I'm trying to achieve is this is a 2020 Yamaha Wolverine X4, and the front track width from outside front tire to the outside edge of the other front tire, tire to tire, is right at 60 inches, and I'm running the factory 12-inch steel wheels with the factory tires, and I want to upgrade to 14-inch wheels with 28-inch tires. But I don't want to go over the 60-inch width, or 6.5 inches is as wide as I can go and still fit in the bed of my truck. And I've seen other people have the same issue or same questions. They still want to fit their X4 or X2 into a 5x10 trailer, and the width is an issue. And most wheels, when you get a 5+2 wheel, really are not a 5+2. So let's go through and see if I can achieve that. So what I've done is I put a 2x4 up against each sidewall, driver and passenger side, and I'm going to take a measurement in front and in the back, and the measurement in between those two will be the current track width. That's because the front tires are towed in just a little bit, so it would be wider. It will be wider on the back side. So let's see, front track width is just under 60 inches. That is about 59, and we'll call it 3/4, but it's really like 59 and 5/8. I'll move the tape measure to the back side, and that is 60 and a half, almost right at 60 and a half. So we are probably, what, 60 and an eighth, 60 and 3/16 stock track width. Okay, let's get some measurements of the factory back width. Do the same thing we did up front. Put tape measure and measure from board to board. So there shouldn't be any toe in on the back, so it should be very, very close from front to rear, the tires. And that measures in right at 61 inches. Get the camera centered there for you, but it's right at 61 inches. Again, this is a 2020 Wolverine X4. The 2018, 2019 models in the rear will probably be a little narrower. Put the camera so you can see it. And in the front, we are 60 and 13/16. Alright, so what I found is a Vision. It's a rocker, 545, it's a 14x7-inch wheel, 38mm backspace, and that should stick out just a little farther than the factory wheels, which I believe were 34 or 36mm backspacing. If I can remember, I'll post it up here in the video somewhere on the screen. And my only concern, I haven't mounted them yet, is that the backspacing is going to be so deep, I'm afraid we might rub on these tie rod ends. Because I'm guessing, I mean, my knuckle fits in there, and and touches both sides. So maybe 3/4, half, somewhere between half and 3/4, 5/8 clearance. And so if the back spacing is too deep on this, it'll rub there. So what we'll do is going to jack the front of the Wolverine up, take the wheels off, put one Vision wheel on each side, and I'm going to measure wheel lip to wheel lip. And if I try to eyeball that as best I can to get this piece of metal level, it's right at 4 3/4. Now let's move over to the steel wheel, or excuse me, the new aluminum wheel, which should be about 5.5. Is that right? Yep. And we are right at 5.5. So I haven't put this on the machine yet, but it's going to be close. Wheel's fully seated, and we've still got space. Now the question is that going to be enough clearance with the tire mounted? I wanted to pause here and say, if you own a Yamaha, the spindle's longer than some others, and so the center cap is not going to fit. But vision, I didn't know this till they came in. The cover on this center cap has 4 screws on the back of it. If you take those out, they also throw in an extended center cap, and you can put your vision cover right back on, put the screws in there. It actually comes with 4 new screws. Screw it back in, and then I'm going to turn it backwards, but you have plenty of clearance to snap that in, and then you can run your center cap without buying. You don't have to buy these separately. So I think that's a plus. Okay, I've got the full weight of the machine down on those blocks. Got it on the suspension. You can see, I don't know if you can see that, there's a gap between the jack. I left the jack there just in case. We're right at 58.5 inches. To try to stay within 60 inches, I'm not going to run 2810s. I know that's a very popular tire size, is a 2810. But to keep the sidewall bulge down, 2810s on a 7-inch wheel would give you about 1.5 inches bulge on each side, if it's a true 10-inch tire. So I decided to go down to a 9-inch tire, which would give me 1-inch bulge on each side of the tire. It makes the machine 1 inch narrower. So if this was, what do we say, 58.5 inches, that'll give us 60.5 inches width, and that's exactly the maximum I need to be. Let me show you the tires I've got. There they are. I went with ITP Terra Hooks. It's a 28x9-14. You can get them in a 28, I think it's 11-14 as well. I don't know that you can get a 28 in a 10. You can get a 30-10. There's some other sizes, but there's 2 reasons I bought these. One, ITP I think makes a pretty good tire, and the tread design. Let's go back to the back. The tread design is pretty similar to the factory tread design on the rear tire for the Wolverine. Here's the impressive part. Again, it's not mounted, but look at the height difference on the rear tire. If you've got a Wolverine, you probably noticed the factory Maxxis rear tires. Unless you have the XTR package or the new 2021 Wolverines, they come with 27-inch tire stock. I think it's the Dirt Commanders. But the factory Maxxis tires, the rear tires really only measure 24 or 24.5 inches. They're not a 26, not anywhere near close. So that rear tire is impressive. I like the tread. And another piece, right there. ITP is made in the USA. Okay, I got the two wheels that I've already bought. I got those mounted today, and I put them up on this side, just sitting here to kind of show the height comparison. Again, there's no weight on the new tires yet, but you can see the difference between that 28-inch ITP and what's supposed to be a 26-inch Maxxis. And these ITPs, I measured them, again, without the weight of the machine on. They measure 27.25, maybe 27.5 if you want to stretch it, but I'd say they're about 27.25 inches high. And then they're again on the front. So we should get a pretty good amount of lift. Shouldn't say lift. Ground clearance increase just from mounting the tires. Okay, and there I think we have about 5/16 clearance. It's close to a half, maybe, but it's not going to contact that tie rod in. It looks wider, but you know what? Let's put the boards on there and get a measurement. Okay, we've got those new tires and wheels mounted up, and we've got the tape measure down, measuring the boards that are placed against the outside white wall. Wow, we're not working on 50s cars here, we're working on modern side-by-side. So against the outside edge of the tire sidewall. And we measured at 60 1/8. I can't remember what it was before. Do you remember? Or 59 3/4 or 59 1/2. Let's measure the back side. 60 and about 5/8. So just over, right at 60 1/2, 60 5/8. Look, unbump this. Oh, look, now it's right. Okay, but 16 5/8, I think that's going to be good. I moved the wheels from the front to the back, put the blocks alongside, and measured the width. So really more like 58.5 on the back. About 59 on the front. So, and again, I could have these boards not perfect. So we're 58.5, 58 3/4. But considering the front was right at 60, 60 1/4, that means we're about 1.5 inches shot narrower in the back than in the front. I do believe the 2018 and 2019 were about 3 inches narrower in the back, but I don't know. I haven't had one. Just going off of what I've heard and what I've read. It's not exactly square, so I will end up having to run. I don't have to, but I'll probably end up running 1-inch spacers in the rear, or I could run a 13mm offset instead of a 38mm offset, but that means all 4 wheels would not match, and so the 13mm offset would have to stay in the rear. Okay, well that's that. A little bit disappointing. I'm still under 60 inches, but I lost almost 2 inches there. Okay, what's your thoughts? No center caps, front and rear, just the wheels with the spindle nut sticking through. And on Yamaha, the spindle's extended out too far, so you have to use extended center caps. Or do you like the center caps? With or without? That's going to be the question. To me, they stick out pretty far. They don't stick out past the tire, but I don't know, I wish they could fit flush on the Yamaha, but I'm not sure just yet that I'm willing to go with no center cap at all. What's your thought? What are your thoughts? No center caps? Or center caps, with or without? We have another option. You can do no center cap. We can go with the extended center cap like we have on right now, or we can reuse the Yamaha center cap, which presses onto the spindle, not the wheel. The problem with the center cap from Vision and the Yamaha center cap is that both could be fairly easily lost, and I'll show you why. The Vision center cap simply snaps on. There's the Yamaha center cap in the background. I like that better. To me, it's a much better look. But the problem with it is it presses on the spindle, not the wheel, whereas the Vision center cap snaps into the wheel. This center cap can pull off. It's slightly larger than the center bore of the wheel, which is 86mm. But it's a little larger, but it doesn't take much to pull it right out of there. So you could lose either one of these guys, or somebody could steal them. So I don't know. I guess you could also put some maybe some silicone around the edge of that and kind of adhere it to the spindle. That's an option as well. Maybe keep it from coming off. Again, if it takes a hit, it's probably will come on off. But I think for me, that's probably how I'm going to run it with the Yamaha center cap. It just looks a lot better than the Vision center cap, which to me is quite bulky. But that'll probably be how I run it. But let me know what you think. No center cap, use the Vision center cap, or stay with the Yamaha center cap. Tell me what you think. Sorry if you can hear the generator running in the background. I'm trying to warm the generator up. We got a storm coming, or a potential storm coming. But this is the rack I built for the bed of my truck. It ties into my gooseneck hitch to hold it stable. And it's got a back piece as well, but the video is not about the rack. The back of the rack, the gap between the rails is 60¼ inches. And if you see the stock machine, stock width, I'm touching there, just barely. And on this side, I've got about a 1/2 inch gap. And so, if the new wheels and tires will fit on the rack there, it should fit in between my truck rails, because where the tailgate closes, it comes right up to this edge, which should be right at 60¼ inches from each side. And I've got to fit in between those rails, and that'd be the same as pretty much fitting inside of like a 5x10 trailer. So again, the goal to keep the machine under 60 inches wide. Okay, it still fits with the new wheels and tires. It's a little closer. On that side it's right even, maybe just the sidewall of the tire hangs over just a touch. And over here we have a little bit of gap there. So we're good. We're good on clearance. So that's what we wanted. Okay, I've been for a few rides. Those ITP Terra Hooks. I think they work great. What I'm doing now, though, from a visual standpoint, with the rear end being narrower than the front, I guess my OCD. I can't deal with it knowing that the rear is more narrow. So what I've done, I've taken the factory wheel off, take a nylon brush, kind of clean up any dirt and residue that was on there to kind of get that mating surface flat. I ordered a set of 1-inch wheel spacers from RB3 Off-Road. They came in, they look great. They've got the studs pressed in. They come with new nuts to bolt these on. The specs are in the instructions say to bolt these on at 80 foot-pounds and to use blue Loctite. So that's what I'm going to do. And I don't know if you can see there, it's got RB3 embossed in there, maybe laser etched, but it's a great looking spacer. Not that you're going to see those very much. So I've already cleaned these up. I've also cleaned the back of my wheels. Get any dirt off, I want to make sure they mount nice and flat. Let's get that spacer. Set it on. I said it comes with four nuts to bolt these on, 4 lug nuts. The tapered end, of course, goes towards the inside, just like you would your wheels. All right, and those are a 19 millimeter on those nuts. Let's get the wheels and put those back on. I've already done the other side. I thought, man, I ought to add this to the video, so that's why I'll stop showing you the driver's side. So we've got the factory, not the factory wheels, but we have the wheels that we're going to use. Put these back on. Of course, these are what I bought were the Vision 545 rockers in 14x7. Running an ITP Terra Hook in 28x9-14. And the metric measurements on those is actually 230, 80, R14. So if you want to use a truck tire size, 230, 80, R14 would be about a 28-inch tire. going to sit it down and roll it back and forth a little bit to settle out the suspension and see how the width on those match up to the front. We got the suspension settled out, and I'm using the same method I used before. I measured in front and behind the wheels to get level, or to get the same measurement, and we're right at 60.5 inches. My goal was 60, but I've also got these tires aired down, so we do have some sidewall bulge there, and it should fit in my rack. And also the rear tires don't need to fit between the bed of the truck, but we're still right there at that 60 inch mark. We're over by ½ inch. I think Perfex makes a 1.5 or 2 inch lift, and you can buy it just for the front, and that should get me, that'll probably pull those tires in close to 1 inch, and that'll be an option, either the Perfex lift, or I also want to go with Bandit shocks, which will give a little bit of a lift and should pull that in as well. And the Bandits would obviously be a better option as far as ride quality than just doing a bracket lift. I was having trouble finding these Vision rockers in the 38mm offset, the positive 38mm offset. I found that Moose Racing, Moose Utility, makes a wheel that looks very similar, and I thought, let's order one because they may be identical. Surely they're cast by the same manufacturer and just relabeled. Now, if you look at the part number there, they're both similar, other than one's 545A, the other one's 545MO. The rest of the same, specs are the same. Interestingly, the Vision wheel shows a net weight on the wheel of 14.87 pounds, whereas the Moose shows 14.65 pounds. Not sure where the 0.22 pounds difference came from. But let's open them up. I've already done that. Obviously, the box is open. When I opened the box of the Moose wheel, the first sign that it was the same is it comes with the same Vision wheel recommended care and maintenance as the Vision products. And as you can see, there's the Vision wheel next to the Moose. The only difference that I've seen so far is, of course, the center cap is going to be different. Same center cap design, just one says Vision, one has the Moose logo, and the Vision has kind of a gray finish around the outside edge. So let's flip these over and see the back side. We're going to look at the Vision first. You can see the casting marks there. It says Vision 545 ZL6308. It's a 14x7, 38mm offset. Max load 1,300 pounds. Maximum tire diameter 32 inches. So we can come over here to the Moose wheel. Same thing, Vision 545 ZL6308, 14x7, 38mm offset. Maximum load's 1,300 pounds. Maximum tire diameter 32 inches. Alright, on these Vision center caps, I thought it was 4 Phillips screws. It's actually 4 2mm hex screws. And so we'll take those out, pop that center cap out, or the cover off, and put it on the extended cap. Before I take these wheels and tires to go have them mounted, I'm going to go ahead and install the valve stems. I picked up a set of Slime TR413 valve stems from a local Advanced Auto Parts, and I use this tool as a valve stem fishing tool. My brother got me this one year as a present. It's made by Lang. I haven't used it that many times, but it works great. Using it to install inner tubes in motorcycle tires, and I've also used it to install valve stems in the wheels, and it just works great. So what we do is take the valve cap off, get you one of these valve stem tools at your local parts store, probably, I don't know, $2, $3, not much. Take the core out. Take your fishing tool, stick it through the hole. Screw it into your valve stem. Push it down. grab a hold of it. So I have this type of T-handle, and I just work it through. Just like that, and unscrew it. Put your valve core back in. Valve cap on, and we're done there.